as the 2000s were happening, the horror was exploding. And exploding it was. I mean, all the countries were getting in on it. We were getting horror films that were remakes of stuff from Japan and Korea and somewhere in Asia. You know, whether it was The Ring, Shudder, The Grudge. I didn't, you know, Audition is another one. But a lot of stuff was starting to come in from around the world. We got French, we got the French 4 films. I don't know them all, but one is Frontiers, one is Martyrs, one is High Tension, and then there's another one. I think it's, I'm not sure what the fourth one is. But, you know, we also had Mother of Tears coming in, which was, you know, Dario Argento completing the three Mothers trilogy. And then something happened in the mid-2000s. Extreme horror. Just the horror gore stuff, man. The gore horror, the horror gore, you know. You had Eli Roth give us Hostel, which a lot of people refer to as torture porn. I've always hated emphatically this title, because to me it's not torture porn. All horror movies are torturous in some way. Whether if that girl is being chased through the briar stickers in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, by Leatherface, don't think that that's not torturous. You know, don't think that, you know, she's running for her life. She's scared out of her wits. That's torture. So to sit down and go, well, you know, Hostel's torture porn. Screw that. It's a horror film. You had Hostel. Hostel was a great movie. Again, Eli Roth giving us something that we hadn't seen in a while, you know, a real twisted take on stuff. He also gave us Hostel 2, and that was about as good as it was going to get. It seemed like it was just kind of like a take on the first one with girls instead of guys, but in the first movie, we see things from the guy's point of view, the victim's point of view. In the second movie, it really felt like it was more that we were being introduced more into the club, and we were seeing things from the club point of view. And in the third movie, we were seeing things from the buyer's point of view, the people that buy. So it was a full circle type of thing. Now, Eli Roth had nothing to do with the third one, really. But the first two, that's the way it unfolded for me. Then you had Saw. And Saw and its countless sequels. Saw was a good movie. I like the original Saw. I like Saw 2. And then after Saw 2, the story kind of went sideways with me, because, you know, they're saying, well, this is going on in this house, this was also going on over here, so, you know, thinking about, you know, things going on simultaneously. And then they kept doing that with, like, I think I saw up to part 4, whichever one had the pendulum. I mean, honestly, I didn't keep track of them. I only bought the first 2 movies. But the guy had the pendulum. That was like the last one that I saw. And they kept putting them out until like last year, the year before last, where they put out the final Saw movie. And now I hear that they're thinking about rebooting the whole Saw series. Yeah, that's what we need. They'll probably just, you know, grab a bunch of people off of TV and turn into teenagers being chased. But you got a lot of, getting back to the extreme stuff, you got Serbian film came out in the 2000s. You got August Underground. You got Mortem. You've got a lot of stuff where people were trying to go to the point of totally grossing people out. It's like those old jokes, what's grosser than gross, you know? But there was a visual context. And extreme horror, I've never been, if there's gore in it, there's gore in it. I could deal with that. But I've never been into the whole extreme thing where it just has to be, you know, caked and, you know, 900 gallons of blood and it's got to be dripping down. And if it's there, it's there. You know, if I see a movie and I like it, oh, hey, that's cool. You know, that's fine. But I don't go out looking for it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, like Murder Set Pieces. I stumbled upon Murder Set Pieces, and that wasn't a bad movie. I've seen both versions, and actually the gorier version is actually the better version of the movie. It has more of a story to it. But since I'm not really deep and thick with all the extreme horror, you know, I don't know a lot of titles. I know the ones I've heard people talk about. But then you had some really twisted stuff like Human Centipede, where guy sews one person's face to another person's butt, to another person's face, to another person's butt, to make this one long digestive tract, you know, see if it could be done. I saw the movie. It was okay. It wasn't gross or disgusting, or it didn't, you know, tweak me out or anything. The one good thing I liked about it was the person that they got to play the doctor. He was very, very creepy looking. Very Boris Karloff-y, you know, and I thought that was something. But also in the 2000s, man, you had a lot of like little independent companies popping up with like these really cheap horror films that some were good and some were bad. You had movies like Shrooms and Shredder and Scar and the Scarecrow Slayer movies. What else? Just popping up. And Shrooms was a cool movie out of the I think it's out of Northern Ireland. It's not out of the UK. Shudder, I already mentioned that, but I liked it. Other people didn't. Shredder actually happens to be made in Kellogg, Idaho, and it's basically kind of like a Friday the 13th takeoff on the hockey mask killer type of thing. My best friend's cousin worked on that film. She was a set dresser, so I actually like that movie, not just because of that, but just I think it was kind of a cool movie. You had like Timber Falls, you know, Beneath Still Waters, Open Graves, just all these movies that just kept coming out in the 2000s, and none of them were making it to the theaters. They were making these movies cheap, and they were throwing them onto DVD, and the home market was saturated with all this stuff. And I was watching it all. I'll tell you more about that when I come back. I'm the 13th Wolfman. I'm on the prowl.